It's the Daily Drama Podcast with Stephen Bradford, presented by, you guessed it, dailydrama.com.
Bradford Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, bud.
What's going on?
Dailydrama.com is the one-stop shop for the avid soap viewer. Recaps, spoilers, stories, giveaways, which we'll talk more about that later in the episode. Access, and of course, you and I are there too, which is nice.
That's right. We're there.
That's right.
We're posting some stuff there.
That's right. That's right.
We got in a little trouble with the law on
The
our
law.
tour.
we fought the law and we won.
Well, he was very generous. So
he was generous.
Go to dailydrama.com and check that video out. It's very funny if you haven't seen it. We had a great tour, which we'll be able to talk about soon because there's so much that happened on tour. It's been a while since we've been on the road together in the minivan, me, you, and Jeremy. What a blast.
Yeah.
The holiday show is so fun.
Dude, it's so much fun.
I know, it's so fun. And we have some dates coming up. So where are we going? Do you know?
We're going Chicago and Milwaukee, December 2nd and 3rd. Chicago and Milwaukee. And then later in the month, we're hitting the Northeast. We are going to Boston. We are going to Albany, Nashville, Levittown, New York, Long Island, New Brunswick, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Sacramento, and Irvine. So,
we got a lot going on. So
Midwest, Nashville, Northeast. So go to stonecoldandthejackal.com for all those tickets and information. So
all those dates. So
and we got Kate Mansi as a guest. We're so excited. So
what's cool is she was on Days. She was on Days for a while. She worked with Billy Flynn a lot, and then now she's on General Hospital. So let's go.
Daily Drama Podcast with Stephen Bradford, and we have Kate Mansi. Hi, Kate.
Hello, gentlemen.
It is so lovely to see you.
It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you dry, Bradford.
I know. I feel like that deserves a little context.
It does. It really does. I was waiting for that.
It sure does. Go ahead, buddy.
The only scene we ever shot together, he was like coming out of honestly, I don't even know. You were coming out of
the hotel pool, the Metro Court pool.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah. But that was like my 4th or 5th day. And I was like, how nice to meet you. You're just going to be soaking wet for the whole scene.
That day I was like, Kate, what's your last name? You said Mansi. I'm like, oh, I know who you are.
Yeah. It's so weird is that was maybe like that was back in May because it was when I first started. And then I swear to God, I was walking down the hallway. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And I was passing the hair and makeup room and they were having their morning meeting about, here's the thing, like we have this scene and that scene. And they're like, and then on item 25, we have Bradford's going to be soaking wet. And I was just like, again, what's the deal? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. We'll leave that up. We'll leave that unanswered. But I will say you're right. I haven't been there that much this year. And yet, at least it seems like every time I'm there, I'm getting sprayed down.
Yeah.
Maybe I just come in. I come in a little too hot.
They know a good thing when they see it, right? See.
I'm not sure about that. So, Kate, we have obviously some friends in common, but Marnie. So when you went to GH, I was talking to Marnie about that time, and she was so pissed.
I know. Well,
he was like, we lost one of our best actresses. And it was just really, really cute how she was talking about you. And,
Marnie and I go way back. Yeah.
Respects you a lot. So
she's the best.
And I know more about you now because I'm on Days. So
I know
I would have before. So it's kind of awesome.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
It's going great. I see all your old people. It's awesome.
I know you have one of my closest friends, Blake Barris, is there. And
Blake's there.
Galen, who is like just loves you. You guys are total bros.
Yeah, they're too. Totally. Those are too dangerous. I know we can't together. That
Once Galen gets that look in his eye with someone, you're just like, this is like it's the same look my 9-week-old puppy gives me. You're just like, they're gone.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's not good.
We're in the scene together, and we have we'll have a run of 8 to 10 scenes. I'm like, bro, we gotta like literally focus on this because I mean, as much as the crew loves the comedy, it's not great. So,
time and place.
Galen's awesome. I'm trying to get him to do to have his own podcast.
I was gonna say we had him on here. I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know. We got to.
I think it was during the pandemic. I think. Yeah.
Right, but we're gonna talk about Kate. So
let's talk about Kate.
So let's talk about Kate.
The only thing I could find on Wikipedia, because we do our research. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, no, Wikipedia is about. I mean, that's where
I donate to Wikipedia every year so they can stay in business.
They're so vital to
God
us.
you do, Steve.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Steve.
I actually do.
Yeah, he finishes. He does the teachers lists in Wikipedia.
Do you do it so that you can remove your age? You're like,
no, I don't even pay attention to Wikipedia. I don't pay attention to it, but like I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And, and they're like, hey, can you, because it's non-profit or whatever it is. I don't know what, because they're not running ads and all that stuff. I don't know.
That's true.
So I said,
I wouldn't technically say they're a nonprofit, but.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm saying that I don't know how they make
it. But that's interesting though.
They are doing the Lord's work. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, maybe.
But from that glorious site that we all cherish, yes. I learned you went to Pepperdine.
I did.
Which is in LA. So are you from LA?
Yes. So I'm from the Valley. I'm from Calabasas, but I always like to say it's like a pre-Kardashian Calabasas. This was like Horsetown, Calabasas. This was very different.
I lived there when it was Horsetown.
You did?
Yeah, I lived there in 99.
Okay. Yeah.
So out in Bell Canyon at the time.
Where it was Horsetown. Love Bell Canyon. We had some crazy high school parties in Bell Canyon.
Oh, there you go.
What did the high school kids do for fun before they had Lamborghinis?
I know. Well, they didn't. They always had them. They came out of the womb with the Lamborghini. That's just how it is. No, it was really interesting. Like I had a back brace for scoliosis from 5th grade to what was that 9th. And so I was homeschooled off and on, and it was bullied, and it was just not a good time for me. And then when I was in 9th grade and I got out of my brace, I was like, new branding moment. Yeah. So I went to Calabasas High and switched everything up and made all new friends and everything and loved it. And all my siblings went to private school still, like down the road. But I loved it. It's a great school, and got into, I was formally trained as a dancer. And so that's like all I wanted to do. And then the only way for me to get off campus early to take like an extra credit for my dance thing was if I took this theater course. So I took the theater course. My mom is still, but was a musical theater agent. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can swear here, but I was like, fine, whatever. And then this is why I think high school teachers are so important, but my high school theater teacher was like, you got to audition for the school play. And I was like, no, I'm a dancer. Like, no, thank you. And then he was like, I really think you should audition. If you do, I'll give you, X amount of extracurricular credits or whatever. So I did. And then I got the lead in that. And that was the first time that I was like, I think learning through as a dancer, it's the same thing kind of. You express yourself through physical movement, and you are, storytelling. But then it was like this other level of the matrix was unlocked. And then I was, so thank God when I went back to several times, I go back to that same professor, same teacher there. And just like, I brought my Emmy when I won, and he was awesome.
That's amazing.
I mean, he changed my life. I think there's a difference. I'm sure you guys have these stories too, wwhere you've had teachers that were on the flip side, like horrible, and also, like detrimentally deter your success, and you're not thriving. But on the other side of the coin, those teachers that really like take an interest in you, see your passions, and even if it's not something that's their area of expertise, like help you channel that. It's
true. I don't give enough credit to my drama teacher. She literally was on me to audition for the class, just for the class.
Yeah.
And she's like, 2 weeks, I ditched the class. I signed up for it because I thought, I was doing, I was trying auditioning for commercials and stuff. I'm like, I don't know this drama stuff, whatever. But she's chased me down for 2 weeks. She's like, look, if you don't do it today, you're done. You're out. Like, that's it. And she made me do it. Of course, I was nervous, but I did it. And then I got the lead in Romeo and Juliet. And that changed.
That's where I knew you from.
It changed everything.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It was.
I looked at you and I was like, it's Romeo. No, but seriously, I mean, I don't have children. I know you guys do, but I just think that's like, I mean, and we won't even get into how underpaid teachers are, but it's the most important job in the world. And then you look at, even on set, it's the same thing, right? Like you look at stage managers and directors and people that really have that ability to help bring someone to, I didn't know where, I mean, I didn't know downstage from upstage from anything. And those like stage managers and those people that really help you, you know, you never forget it. So
absolutely,
for sure.
So how did, as a young dancer, how did the scoliosis affect your dance journey?
Right. So well, I was in a back brace for 23 hours a day. My parents were separated. My mom is a former dancer, and so her school of thought was more Eastern medicine. So she was like, when Katie's with me, we'll put her in dance double the amount of time to strengthen the muscles on the opposite side so that you can kind of pull her spine. That's what the Eastern practice was, and acupuncture and all that stuff. And then my father was totally on board with like the Western side. And he was like, she's going to stay in the back brace, like for sure. So I went back and forth, and my mom was very much like, don't even bring the brace in here. Like, we're not in this school of thought. So like 1 week and 1 week, I kind of went through both of them, which I think is such a good example of, I guess, I mean, sure, parenting, but also like it's that yin and the yang. Like it really, I think, was both of those things. I think that the reason why I was 3 degrees away from needing the surgery, that's the metal rod in your back. And so
that would have made travel hard
because of both of them. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
get back in the pool, Bradford.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, so yeah, that was the scoop.
Wow. Okay. And so once you kind of get turned on to theater, and then when you start looking at colleges, because that seemed it was a little later in high school, or was that?
Yeah. So no, that was. And so then I got accepted for a full ride to Marymount Manhattan University in New York for dance.
Wow.
For dance,
then
okay,
kind
great.
of like, I think I want to be an actor, and I wanted to stay in LA. And my mother, because she, is an agent, was like, I see people all the time that major in theater and they don't have a backup plan. What really happened is my mom sat me down and said, look, the best dancer you can be is, this is your future X, Y, and Z, and you're too good for those things. So like, what's the next avenue? And it sounds a bit harsh, but it was. And she was like, so if you have this other interest, like, let's nurture that. But she wouldn't allow me. Both my parents agreed that I needed to, go to school. And after I graduated from university, then my mom was like, all my contacts are open to you, but until then, you need to figure out what you really want to do. And
mom was running a tight ship over there. I know. Like it.
Was she a musical theater agent in LA?
Yeah, so she was a dancer, and then she and her best friend, they started the first agency for dancers when they were younger, and then started, and then she got into equity and then took her agency bi-coastal, et cetera. She represented Eric Martzoff and his wife and introduced them, actually. So
that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that's what it was like growing up in Calabasas. Like, I remember a lot of the kids on the first day of school were like, now I'm dating myself because they were CDs, but they would be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Here's my demo. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, where's your demo? And, they were like, their dads were famous musicians, whatever. So it was a school where everybody was sort of someone, if you will. And I don't know, my parents were just really invested in me being a kid, I think, first. I don't know.
Or in a person, not a commodity.
Yes, exactly. So I think that, and I resented it growing up, but I think that allowed me to, those boundaries kind of gave me I hated that I had to go to Pepperdine when I was there because I just wanted to leave. I was like praying every night, like, I just want to book a job and leave. But it taught me the perseverance and made me love acting enough to like really fight for it. When I saw all of my friends with the demos, with, whatever, when it came so easily to them, burn out so quickly, even though they had some earlier and younger. So in hindsight, I am grateful for that.
What is Pepperdine? Okay, so Pepperdine is in Malibu.
Yes, so Pepperdine's in Malibu.
What is campus life like
beautiful. There's deer crossing. There's the ocean view. Amazing. It's gorgeous. And
is there a baseball field over there or something right on
the
ocean?
Tennis, everything right off PCH. I mean, it's gorgeous. I loved it. It's not, your typical college experience because the Greek life isn't as like I mean, I guess it's there, but I was like I had my friends, had a boyfriend, was very much like, I was a bit there and not there, a bit removed. I would go into Hollywood and like do my acting classes 2 times a week outside of classes. And then I was majoring in public relations and minoring in Italian, which I then dropped. But, so I was sort of like of 2 minds when I was there,
sure.
but I thought if there's anything else I can do, I would love to do PR. My strategy basically was, I'm going to become an actor. I don't really I'm just going to graduate and I have to choose a major, but like PR is the only thing that will help me in this. So that's what I chose.
So
amazing.
Yeah. So when did you start actually auditioning? When you're like, okay, here I come.
Yeah. So I chose, I was auditioning for commercials. I think it was my freshman year of college. And then, and like print work and stuff like that. And then my sophomore year of college, I booked a guest star on How I Met Your Mother. And I was like, well, that's it. I made it. Sorry.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, guys. See you later.
My star is too bright. Yeah. So
right.
I thought that was going to be it. And like,
that's so funny.
Like, I guess I have to go back to auditioning. So, I had tested several times for things. I went to New York and tested for One Life to Live. That was my first screen test ever. Met Frank, whatever. Flew back home and was like devastated that I didn't get it, and I had to go back to school. I was like crushed. Then I tested for Days twice, I think, and then I tested for a bunch of different shows that I didn't end up booking and wanted so badly. Friday Night Lights and yada yada. So then but then the day after I graduated, I just knew that like for some reason I was like, okay, I just feel like it just felt like it felt like a shift. Like I was supposed to finish school for some reason. And then I was a hostess at the Belmont, and they said, this is a good luck position because the girl you're replacing was Ashley Greene and she just booked the Twilight series.
Oh yeah.
I was like, well, I auditioned for that and didn't get it. So whatever. But no, so then I booked Days of Our Lives when I was there after, I don't know, like a couple of months. So went straight from university to that. Yeah.
Hello, friends. To celebrate the very first episode of the Daily Drama Podcast with Steve and Brad, we are going to do some giveaways.
We are. We're going to give you some free stuff. These awesome t-shirts that we're going to sign, merch from your favorite shows, books, coffee mugs, and private virtual meet and greet with
us?
With us.
That sounds amazing.
That's right. So go to dailydrama.com/giveaway and you'll see all the information there. Enter for free.
That's right. And we will announce winners on future episodes of the Daily Drama Podcast with Steve and Brad. So keep listening and keep watching. Nothing in your training probably prepared you for the pace of daytime, right?
Oh yeah, no, not at all. I mean, like I was the pace of daytime, and also just, I think, I had a passion for acting. I did have a bit of like I had good instincts, but my training didn't really prepare me for, I wasn't really trained enough to, I think that on soaps, we do like in one day, a rom-com, a horror scene, you
sure.
It all. And so I was sort of like, okay, I'm taking a, multicam comedy class in Hollywood. I'm taking a, scene study class. Like you kind of dabble in it as you're training, but that was different than anything else I had ever done, and was the best sort of like boot camp, if you will, that I 100% could ask for. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are your, like, did you remember your first days and like?
Oh yeah, of course. I remember my first day. Gary Tomlin was directing and I think executive producing then. And I had a scene where I had to walk in the door and say hi to my mom, Missy Reeves, and her boyfriend, Sean Christian. And I had to say hi to them and give them a hug. So I walked in, it was like my first scene and I was so nervous, and all I had to do was say hi and hug Sean, and then we would move on to the next scene. But they were like, okay, cut. And they stopped, and I was just kind of like, okay, like what's next? And then Gary like walks over to me and his pocket's really quiet. And he was like, Kate, could you maybe try not to have chemistry with the guy who's playing your stepdad? And I was like, yes, right, got it. Yep, no problem.
Let's shut it down.
So then the hug became very like yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hey. I mean, he is a hunk of man.
Well, no, I think it was just like we were both like we just like held so tightly, and they didn't yell cut, so I was just like, you know, kind of happily cradled in his arms.
Yeah, good hugs. Yeah,
that's so funny. And you were paired with Billy, right? Billy Flynn a lot.
Yeah. So first I was with Casey Diedrich, and then Billy Flynn, and then James Scott, or maybe it was James Scott, and then Billy Flynn, Robert Scott Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had some good men in my day. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. That's it. You mentioned Blake. The first time, the first time I ever couldn't be there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he stepped in for me.
I remember that.
And I got in trouble because I'd booked a couple episodes of Homeland, and that's why I couldn't do it. And I was recurring. I wasn't on contract.
Yeah.
And but it was to like officiate a wedding.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He did I don't know how this guy has so much dialogue every day.
Yeah. And it was of Kirsten's character, of Maxie, who's you know, someone that my character has a long history with. And so like
it was a pretty big day.
It was a big day, and you know, they booked a lot of people for that day, so moving it would have been really problematic. And I booked it on a Friday. I was supposed to be at GH on Monday, but I was supposed to also fly to New York on Sunday night to do Homeland. And I'm like, so I called Frank, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, bless his heart, he was so generous. He's like, I can't tell you what to do. I can't promise anything, but like whatever choice you make, I understand. Like, he was just generous with it, you know?
That's so lovely, by the way, because if he would have cockblocked that would have been terrible.
Well, you weren't. I mean, technically, you weren't under contract, though, right?
I wasn't, but they had booked me for the day, right?
So scheduling and all that.
Right. But then, because you know, when, once the news came out, you know, everyone was getting heat because they're like, "Oh, you can't recast him," and then screw you, Blake, and all. And I was like, "Guys, hold up! No, this is my fault. This is entirely is entirely my fault. I did this. This is what this has happened." And then CBS or Showtime got in touch with my agent, and like, he broke his NDA. So,
so then what happened?
They just were. It was. It happened over the week.
Were there consequences? Like, did you have?
I don't know. I was booked.
He's never worked again.
Well, I was gonna say, like, so
there's that one.
He's clearly not donating to Wikipedia.
But it was
sure.
Wow,
it was interesting because I didn't.
No, totally. And you were trying to just speak.
Well, and I didn't.
You weren't the one that leaked it. Yeah.
I didn't say anything about character or what. And they had just announced that other characters were coming back for that season that were almost like a spoiler. Like, this actor's coming back for this season. We all thought he was dead. And I was like the only thing you could glean is that I would be doing a guest star sometime during the season.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't give up any information, but I think it was during the week of the holidays where there was no entertainment news. And I think someone just picked it up and was like, this is something.
When he told me that, though, I was like, you guys do have similar sensibilities. Like, I do feel like that was a really good, recap. Like, I can see that similarly. Don't you think?
I saw Blake at work, and I go, you played Spinelli.
Yeah. And Blake, the thing that's so great about Blake, I mean, I could go on and on about what a great actor he is, but he's so good in like the fact that he could step into what you do so uniquely and have that comedic timing and rhythm and all of that. And then also he's such a fantastic dramatic actor also. So yeah, I think, as are you. And so I think that was a very brilliant choice.
I was really impressed because what impressed me was his presence and his confidence to not try to do too much. You know, like sometimes if you're stepping in, you might try to do and that's what impressed me the most was just his presence and his confidence, because
for sure,
you know, someone that was maybe less confident would try to do maybe too much and get mired in that rather than just being present.
So for sure.
But anyway, so you were there.
Speaking of recasts.
Oh yes.
I mean, that's that's a tough thing. I mean, in daytime, that's one of the. It's interesting because fans, just yours was a day, Brad.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that was a day.
Right.
Imagine someone on for 15, 20 years, and then some poor actor or actress is coming in to try to go, hey, I'm just here. They hired me. That's all. That's the only reason I'm here. Yeah. I'm not trying to do anything.
Right.
I'm not. Don't kill me.
I know. Don't
I murder me, please.
Speaking of, I got like death threats when I was taking over for Ashley Benson, I remember. So I was certainly wasn't like, someone was like, I'm in Canada, and if Ashley doesn't come back, I'm going to jump on. I was like, whoa, settle down.
Yeah.
I was like, Sonny, we might need to discuss this. But no, because I was a recast also, like I totally understand and have the sensitivity. Also, when Marcy came into it's always weird. Like there's just, it's uncomfortable. Gives a little bit of an ick factor. Like it just is what it is. Like, and theater is the only other medium that does that. Right. But I said when they called me for this, I was like, as soon as I heard it was a recast, I said, don't tell me like the names of any of my family members, because I knew I would have that mental block and not be able to. And of course I knew Lexi and was, really saddened to hear that this was happening, but I knew that she was also really wanting to pursue other endeavors, producing and such. So I think it worked out, but it's a tricky situation.
For sure.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you didn't want to know who the family was, because then you would already have this thing in your mind of how it should be played, right?
Totally.
As opposed to going from the other way where you're going, how can I create this person or whoever this is? Obviously, you have to take in consideration all that stuff.
Totally.
But usually that stuff would dictate.
Yeah.
Like I
don't watch any. I did that when I was taking over for Ashley Benson too. I didn't watch any of her stuff. And I feel like it's the same thing if you're playing I don't know. I mean, I think that for me, I just know I'm such an empathetic person that would really have blocked me. So what I did was I said, like, as soon as, if and when we sign this deal, this is the fastest I ever signed on something, but I said, I want that day. I'll like sit down with whoever you're willing to, and I'll just go through all the family history and all the stuff without so much like watching it as Lexi and just understanding, what I needed to understand. So that's what I did.
So you're Sonny's daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sonny and Alexis.
Right. So you're probably more up to speed on this than we are, because you just learned about it.
And Alexis's daughter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that you're Sam's half sister, because Alexis is also her mom, correct?
Yeah. And somehow I still think it's weird, but Sam and Maurice also had like a
that's right,
for a moment. Yeah. So
they don't have any children though, right?
No, thank God.
No, it died.
It died.
Right.
That was dark.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, because the story was that Sonny and Sam couldn't work, so he basically she was pregnant, and I had to basically play the bodyguard for her. And
you go. Okay.
That's how our romance initially started.
Right.
And that was one of the best scenes. Like, if you look at the baby passing, it was,
was it like
Nancy,
stillborn?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And they did it with a silhouette. Like I get goosebumps now because everybody was just brought it. That day was incredible.
Oh, yeah. That's the day that we did the rewatch on. That was,
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm always.
Well, you are so missed, Steve.
Thank you.
You are, even everyone from hair and makeup to everybody misses you. So
that's sweet. So
and you know,
hey, Bradford, you're a good pool boy.
Some people might say that you and Kelly Monaco are pretty good cast as sisters.
She feels immediately we had like a total sister vibe. I actually felt that way with Alexis a bit too. And I know they had struggled a little to find a sister for me, but Kelly's great. Like we instantly.
We have the same height.
Same height, same like
you get off Wikipedia here, bro.
Well, no, I just mean you're both not very tall.
Well, I think
there's a compliment in there, Steve, right?
Well, but no, I know there is, Kate.
Just,
I know.
Like,
no.
Similar,
I get
like,
it. For sure. Similar packages. Yes.
100%.
Sure.
Good one. Yeah.
Me too.
So how are you? How long you been there now? A year?
So I was May 1st. Yeah.
Wow,
so
good. So
they told me about this right before I had a show that was airing on Amazon Freevee. And the premiere was May 1st. And they had said, you'll start on the show on May 1st. And I was kind of like, well, I had been waiting for this show, Casa Grande, to take off for a while. It was just premiering and I was hoping, well, maybe it'll get a second season, etc. But then, I knew that the strike was pending and I knew that daytime would still be working. And so I just was like, this feels, and when I had the meeting with Frank and with executives and everybody, they had said that this storyline would be something that also directly related to endometriosis, which I have and was very important for me to speak out about, and also would be very involved in the LGBTQIA+ community. So those were things that really immediately gave me goosebumps and were like, this feels right. I wasn't planning to return to a soap, especially at that time, because I was so hopeful that this show would take off.
Right.
But everything kind of happened, it was this really great window where the strike was going to happen and nothing else. It was like a blank slate. So I decided this was the perfect timing, and I started on GH. I had my first day and then the premiere of Casa Grande later that night. And then, here we are.
And what happened with Casa Grande?
It's good. I can't say anything more yet, but it's all good. Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean,
and I assume you're having fun at GH. So
I am having fun at GH. Yes. I mean, we wish you were there, of course. And I wish I could have some scenes with Bradford where he wasn't soaking wet, but I'll take it.
I mean, I don't know.
No, it's not that. Listen, we travel a lot. It's a little overrated at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, everything at GH is really good. I think that everyone is really Maura and Laura have both been so great.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So much. Totally. And it's different. I mean, Marnie said after she sort of grieved the fact that I was going to GH, because I did call her and I was like, sorry. But she was like, you're going to be in such a good family. And also, I see it differently because you're not stepping into this show as you were when I was a brand new actress. So I think it was different for me. I stepped in and I knew of all the community so well. And I loved Laura's work and Maura and all these women that I really respected. So
and she's right, man. Marnie is so wise.
Beyond.
She's just something special. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. She's so wise. It's like she's so objective. Even though she loves you so much,
you know
what I mean. She sees it from a bird's eye view, right? She goes, "No, this is going to be good, and it's going to be fine, and all this stuff." She's so selfless too. So it's just really
and
cool.
Just the most unsung hero. I could sing her praises for forever because
all day long.
Incredible, yeah.
Luckily, my character has a lot to do with your other sister,
right? Yeah.
So, and that was fun. The first day,
it was. Yeah.
They clearly wrote how these characters interact.
Yeah.
And so that was fun to just go for it.
Totally.
And, but it's interesting because I hadn't had a lot with your character in a while.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how they do it, right? When you, Steve, I'm sure you had the same thing when you went to Days. When you're a new, to establish you you're having all these establishing scenes with all the family and all the people, and they're like, oh, Kristina, I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going with your Charlie's and what's happening with and you have that for 2 weeks and then you're old news.
Yeah, for me it was we haven't seen you in 34 years.
Yeah. Thanks.
Harry Michaels.
The worst name in daytime. Thank you so much.
Are you feeling good about, tell me,
Harris Michaels, please, God.
I know.
Harry.
It was the 70s. What do you
think? More to be honest, you're almost more of a Michael Harris.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. And you can imagine all the names Galen has for me. So anyway.
There's no lack of creativity there.
There is none.
Hairless Michaels.
Well, hey, that's a good one too.
That's right.
I like that.
Hairless Michaels.
I'm going to use that.
No, but things are good. You're happy there.
Everything's good. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Character's good. Listen, it's always fun to play a different character.
Totally.
Daytime fans sometimes don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to get out of what you've done for so long.
Yeah.
Because as an actor, that's what you sign up for acting for, is to do.
And there's a difference in energy too. I'm sure you
100,000%.
Going to a new location, a new set, new people,
new people. It's a whole new world, and and I knew a lot of the crew, so that was awesome. You know, a lot of wardrobe and camera guys. Some guys are floating from GH to YNR,
I know, isn't
back
that
to
crazy?
days. It's so crazy. So, but I mean, it's one small family and it's awesome. But the energy's different. Like when I went to YNR, it was completely different. It was just, you know, you just kind of fall right into it. But it's been a lot of fun.
Good.
It's interesting. You said something earlier that, you know, about like, you know, doing plays and, you know, playing different characters. And it is interesting that in most of in all of stage, the characters is the thing. It's like, oh, I want to play Hamlet. Oh, I want to do, you know, I want to do some Tennessee Williams. I want to play Brick. I want to play like the character is something that the actor aspires to play at some point. That's like, I want a shot at this. I want a shot at that. I want a shot at that. But in film and TV, man, the character is so intertwined with the actor. That it is, and, you know, and especially our fans, they really associate, you know, character with actor. But the way we're trained, we don't think that way. So it's but I know the longer we stay in daytime, you do feel a bit of an ownership for sure.
Right. Yeah, 100%, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. So let me ask this though, and we can finish up. So when he said about that with acting, did you think about that with dancing? Did you go, oh, this is a musical I have to do, or I want to do this musical?
I definitely had like, I had like goals that I was like, I want to be this, I want to be that. But, you know, as my mother so kindly, but not so gently put to me, like the best dancer you can be is, you know, here's what it is. Your technique will put you here. This will put you here. And I know that that's far below where you want to be. So I was like, in terms of my ballet training, I was never going to be a New York City ballet dancer, just plain and simple. As much as I wanted to, I wasn't getting the success at the company auditions that I wanted to. So I just knew that wasn't going to happen. I had the passion for it, but my technique just wasn't fully there with point work. Then, as you know, I think what my mom's point was, in LA at the time, especially, there weren't so many crossover opportunities like we see now for dance in shows like My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or Marvelous Miss Maisel, things like that. That didn't really exist so much back then. So she was like, you know, in LA, the opportunities are really slim. So you're looking at being in some sort of like booty shaking music video, or and it's really struggling, and that's a hard life. It's like an athlete, like you know.
And you're also done when you're 35 if you're lucky.
So she was like, you have this other interest. How else can we facilitate that? So
sweet.
I auditioned for her when she came home from work. I did like a monologue from Good Will Hunting, a monologue from Notting Hill that I like recorded on my VHS and like.
How You Like Them Apples, that monologue?
Yes, of course. And then like the Minnie Driver one. And then I did, a couple of those. And then I did like a Fosse inspired classical like dance routine. And then I did like a Britney Spears pop something with the chair. I don't know. And sat down and was like, will you represent me? And she was like, okay, I see what you did. I appreciate this. And also no. So we had to kind of like deal with that. But
that's awesome.
I went to school and went to Pepperdine and studied.
Do you sing?
No, I mean, like I could definitely sing in like if I were in like a musical ensemble, but I would never be like carrying a musical. It's just not my thing, you know?
Because I trained in musical theater. So
yeah. Okay, so you went up to me. Thanks a lot.
No, I was gonna ask if you miss it, but if it wasn't, if it never,
I mean, I miss dance for sure, but I'm sure like you guys have like with, I don't know, sports or when you've done something at such a level, I say a level of excellence, but like it's really hard for me mentally to go back to dance because the fun of it, I don't, it's hard for me to access fun with dance anymore, to be honest, because I feel the pressure and the, the like where I'm at now compared to where I was and the gap there. And then you go in and especially in LA, you're just like, someone's like Botma is like way high. You're just like, I'm done. Wow. We won't be coming back to this. So I don't really do it anymore, but I do miss it. Yeah.
Do you think at some point that will change and you can do it for yourself instead of the product?
I don't think so. I mean, I taught dance when I was at Pepperdine University. I taught dance to kids, which I really enjoyed. I taught like a boys hip hop class, and then I did like ballet and contemporary for kids, and I really loved that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like, I think because I was trained for so long with this thing of it not being good enough and always trying to be, it's such an athletic mindset when you're a dancer, like in that way. It's really hard for me now to just do it for enjoyment, I think. And so, especially when I don't have the training that I used to, but, or the technique that I used to, but I'm trying, I'm trying.
Well, your body is probably grateful that you didn't do a dancing career because, man, like, especially if you're on point for your career, at the end, your body, just orthopedically, it just, your body's wrecked.
Yeah.
And Kate, listen, all those years of musical theater Bradford had, he's just coming out of a pool.
That's right. That's right.
Totally. That's right. That's it. When you Google him on Wikipedia, it says
it all led to the pool.
Swamp Thing.
It all led to the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate, you're awesome. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so glad we did this, you guys.
I look forward to hopefully some scene work with you at some point. And
same, wet or dry. And you, Steve, whatever we have, any chance to talk to you, I always enjoy.
All right, I appreciate it, Kate. Thanks for making this happen.
Anything we can send our viewers to, whether it's just social media or anything like that?
At Kate Mansi, but I think also, I mean, not to get too political, but just I think right now is a really difficult time in the world for other places, and I think drawing our attention to what's going on in Israel and Gaza is really important. So I would encourage people to, of course, follow what I'm doing, but also more importantly, I think to tune into what's going on with people in different areas.
Awesome.
Right on.
Thank you, Kate.
Awesome.
Guys.
Thanks, Kate. Bye.